Welcome to the Exact Digital Podcast, where marketing leaders, agency founders, and growth focused innovators share the strategies and mindset shifts driving what's next in marketing. Today's guest is Jay Vix, also known as Jay the AI Guy. Jay is a seasoned digital marketing leader and founder of JVI Mobile Marketing, where he empowers businesses with practical, results driven strategies that go beyond basic social media and ads. Welcome to the show, Jay. Can you tell our audience a little bit more about the work you guys do at JVI Mobile?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be on here. It was really good to kind of catch up with you a little before we
Yeah.
started. So I've been around this space, believe it or not, since 1997. It's when I hand coded my first HTML website in 1997, and I cannot believe that that is almost 30 years ago. Like
Me
that's
neither.
just ridiculous to me. Um, but over time, we started JVI Mobile about 2012. So we're coming up on 14 years in business,
Uh-huh.
and we really now what we're doing is we help clients, specifically appointment-based industries. So your
Mhm.
residential movers, your any massage or any type of local service business that relies on appointments with people. We're going to uh, implement solutions for them, mostly software based, that can help them book more appointments. Really, is at the end of the day. So we're helping them book more appointments using AI agents these days. So they're all
Mhm.
AI chat assistants that take over the leads when the leads come in, and then to date, we've booked over 3,000 appointments for our clients. That's since April
Wow.
when we made that switch. But our platform really does replace about 30 tools in one. That's just one really key element for the types of businesses that we work with and that we help.
Yeah. Yeah, you've mentioned that AI has been a complete game changer for how you work. How do you see AI shifting from a tool to a true team member in marketing operations?
I'm already seeing that. It's
Yeah.
it's wild. That's a good question. I'm glad I just answered the previous question with that because um, we're witnessing it in real time, right? And so every Friday, I do a webinar. I do a free webinar for small business owners that want to learn how to utilize AI more as an employee and less of just a tool. And how I see it happening and how I see this trend happening is now I already see the shift where we're able to, I don't want to say replace because replace sounds so cold and heartless, but
Mhm.
I I see a playing field being leveled where I can compete with a software developer, like as a coder, right? So the tools that are out there are you're starting to be able to develop things like build a website
Wow.
without being a website developer, program a mobile app without being a mobile app developer, program a web app without being a software or software without being a software developer. That's there. It's there right now. All you have to do is tell it what you're looking for. There's a little bit more to it, but really that's
Yeah.
it, right? You can talk to it in plain English, and we really like some of the tools like Claude by Anthropic and some others that you can actually just say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I need. This is what my specs are, or this is what it's about, and feed it some information, and then have it create. One other way that we're seeing this is using a tool by Google called Notebook LM. Notebook LM can act as basically any type of analyst or creator that you want. We've given it sources of information, and then it can go through, dive through it, and it can turn it into a podcast episode, an AI fully automated AI podcast episode that sounds just like two NPR hosts having a conversation about what you just asked it to, about your company, about your services, about your products. It can create presentations and it can go through the data and analyze it and give you reports and key insights. So you've got analysts and programmers. AI is already capable of doing that. So that's where I see the shift goes from, hey, write me an email or create me an image to develop a full plan based on these things and this world and these sources.
Yeah, so fascinating how things change, right? How quickly
It's
things
crazy.
change too.
Yeah.
You've had massive success in very specific niches,
Mhm.
like your appointment-only mattress retailers. How do you believe niche focus, or why do you believe niche focus is so powerful, especially in today's crowded marketing landscape?
Um, Trial by fire, or baptism by fire, let's call it that, right? So I mentioned we're coming up on 14 years with JVI Mobile. Uh, it wasn't till 3 years ago that I understood the power of going into a niche, right?
Yeah.
Some people say niches, the riches are in the niches, and some people say niche. I think if you're from Canada, right? Is
Yeah.
that when you say niche, right? And
Yes.
and and it's always funny to me, and I say both interchangeably because I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's funny to me. I I just kind of was out there just gazing around the digital marketing industry, picking up a client here, finding a referral here, just yeah, how are you getting your clients? I don't know. They're just talking to people and then they show up, right? Or they ask, "Can you help me?" And that was no way to grow. And I was trying to be everything to everybody, right?
Mhm.
And somebody said it, if you try to be everything to everyone, you become nobody to no one or something like that.
Yeah, I get
So something like I don't know.
that sounds
But
familiar, but this sounds
yeah,
right.
something like that. Jack of all trades, master of none, right? And
Yeah.
and so I went out and I was like, people would just say, "Hey, can you help me with this web? Can you help me with my website? Can you help me with my social media? Can you help me run ads? Can you help me?" And I was like, looked at the bank account and was like, "Yeah, yeah, I can help you with that." Right? Because I
Yeah.
had enough knowledge that I could do it. I just didn't have enough experience and expertise that I could do it amazingly well because I wasn't focused on that one thing. So when I found a niche, what I really found was that I could take a system that works at scale and I could just implement that system over and over and over again and just customize. So it reduced the amount of customization we had to do. It
Mhm.
reduced the amount of onboarding we had to do. It reduced the amount like it just made it more simple and streamlined. I could delegate faster. How do you delegate this A, B, and C to this person and then go to the same person and say, "Oh, you also need to learn and do D, E, and F now." Right? Like
Right.
it's too much. And then you find yourself wrapped up in it, and then all of a sudden you realize after 10 years in your digital marketing agency that really all you've been is a glorified freelancer because you're still doing all the work, and then you're hiring people that can't really help you because you have no way to delegate something that isn't systemized. So
Yeah.
niching down has been key,
Mhm.
and now we're moving into the residential mover space, and I'm really really excited to jump into that space.
That's awesome. I think kind of even our earlier conversation before this, even with prospecting, I think having, a focus, because I mean
Mhm.
it's so there's so many opportunities out there. So it does sort of help to like target and have, a select group.
Completely.
You made an interesting point about lead costs versus true ROI. Why do you
Mm.
think marketers are still overly obsessed with cost per lead instead of cost per sale?
Maybe they haven't hit the same maybe they haven't hit their head as hard as I have as many times as I have. Like, maybe I've just been around this and I'm grizzled, or maybe it's wise, maybe I'm older, I have more experience. Um, I think a good there's something to be said for cost per lead, of course, right?
Yeah.
You can try to adjust and tweak and change your way down to a cheaper cost per lead. But what we find is that a lot of leads that come in, what do our clients always end up saying? Oh, that was a bad lead. These are crappy leads. Like, we hear these things all the time. And it's like, well, what's so bad about them? Like, they're coming in, right? But then when you sit back and you think about it, you're like, all right, we have to account for that. So let's say we're getting leads for $10 a piece, right?
Mhm.
And you get 80% of them are garbage leads, right?
Right,
So
right.
let's say you got 5 leads and 80% were garbage at $10 a piece. Did you still spend $10 for a good lead, or did you now spend $50 for the good lead? I would say you spent $50 for the good lead. If that good lead turns into a sale, then you're looking at $50 for a sale, right? I would be much more focused on how much did it cost me to get that sale, and what was that ROI, than worrying about what my lead cost was, because you're going to have leads that are not good, are not qualified. And again, once you can get profitable at your leads to get a sale, then you work backwards and you look at that cost per lead and like, great, now how can I get more leads for the same amount of money, right? So I feel like why marketers don't get that, um, I'll tell you why, because marketers are marketers and their job is
Mhm.
to drive leads. So if they can get you the cheapest amount of warm bodies with a pulse and a heartbeat and a brain, whether that brain works or not, to their door, they're like, I did my job. I got you, you know, we've gotten 100,000 leads for our clients in 3 years for our mattress clients. Okay, great. I bet you that only 40,000 of them were really good, right? Because that's what happens on Facebook, right? You get
Mhm.
a lot of people that are like, I didn't click on your ad. It's like, yeah, yeah, you did, but that's okay. Keep going. So
Right.
you have to account for those people, because you're paying Facebook for it regardless. Not like you
Mhm.
can say, well, that was a bad lead, give me my money back. Facebook's not going to do that,
Right.
right?
Right. And it also depends on like how long is your sales process after? Are you able to like keep those leads in your funnel
Hmm.
and, nurture them, or are you truly trying to like, you know, get to the next sale? Like what's that look like? What's the value there? So
Sure.
no, I'm totally agree. You also mentioned to me that your secret sauce, kind of like why people come back and work with you time and time again, is that you're proactive and not just reactive with your clients. So, how has that philosophy shaped your retention and client relationships over time?
A lot.
Mhm.
You know, it goes back to listening to my clients, right?
Right.
Or listening to new potential clients on those sales calls.
Yeah.
Why are you leaving X, Y, and Z company? Why are we having this conversation today? Right? That's a question I ask when people are coming from a competitor. Like, I always find out, well, what are you doing now? Oh, I'm using this service. Well, great. Why are you leaving that service? Right?
Yeah.
Because I need to know, obviously, as a salesperson, okay, I need to make sure that I prove that I'm not going to be that same. You know what I hear all the time from business owners? I have to call them to get anything done. I have to email them if I want to change. I have to stay on top of them, and then I wait days for them to get back in touch with me. I don't think they're being really focused on my account. I think they've gotten too big. They're not paying attention to, right? These are things I hear all the time. And so one of the things I realized, and we've put systems in place, is the most important people that I have on my team are, one person looks at the ads every
Mhm.
week, on Monday, right?
Yeah.
Um, and we'll review from the week before. We'll review week over week. We'll see if it's trending in a direction. Was there a holiday? Was there a reason they were up, or are they working better? But like, we're looking over that. That's just on the paid side. So that's
Yeah.
one way that we're being proactive every week. And then we shoot them a quick message. Hey, looked at your ads today. No reason to change them. They're performing fine. Keep it going. We'll check again next Monday. Have a great week, right? And
Yeah.
then we have my client support person, um, and he's reaching out like weekly. He's available during live chat. We're talking. He's booking calls. We have office drop in support calls every day except Friday, where people can just jump on and talk to us, but we make ourselves available. Those are the things that I think people really like. They wanna know that they can get a hold of somebody, you know, um,
Yeah.
and so we offer every way to do that, and what he's doing now is he's reaching out and he's just trying to get some account reviews set up, and I actually have 2 tomorrow. Um, but he's just reaching out to existing customers and saying, "Hey, new year, let's take a look at your account. Let's see if we're gonna make any changes, what your goals are for this year, and let's move forward." Um and I think people really like that, and I think that doesn't happen in a lot of places. I think people are like, "Great, I got you on a retainer. I'll do
Right.
the bare minimum now. Let me know if you wanna meet." Right? And that's I don't think that's ideal.
No. Yeah, I think being able to, like, have those touch points is so key and so important. So tell us a little bit about, like, you're intentionally building your personal brand as Jay the AI guy. Why do you believe personal branding is becoming just as important as company branding, in 2026 and beyond?
Yeah. Um, I do. I've often said that, every time there's a new year, somebody's like, this, it's the year of this. And I say 2026, the year of the personal brand. I believe it's critical. I believe it's important because people want to know who they're working with. They want to know more about that person. They want to know more about their lives. And you can be private and you don't have to let everybody in. You can choose how deep you really want to let somebody in.
Yeah.
Um, but I think putting your face out there so you show people I'm real, I've got a family, I might be just like you. Um, I know what I'm doing in this space, demonstrate through value. It's part of why we started our AI workshops every Friday or webinars every Friday is like, I'm going to teach you. It's free. I don't expect anything in return. I am going to
Yeah.
offer you the opportunity to book a free 15-minute coaching call with me so I can see if we might be a good fit. But, right, like, but
Yeah.
is that a good trade-off? Right? I think it's pretty fair, right? And and um and so I feel like that that level of personalization is going to get lost with companies because a lot of it might have to do with AI. A lot of people are now trying to get more content out there and more faceless stuff out there, and because it's easy, because you can pay a software and it can put out tons of videos and content for you without you having to put a face on it. That's easy.
Mhm.
Um Authenticity still matters. I'm not saying you can't use your face to create an AI video of talking you, right? Like
Right.
I've done it. We have those. It's fine. But people really want to know who you are.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter the words necessarily that are coming out of your mouth. If they match with what that person's looking for, it's good. But people want to know who you are. What you're saying does matter. That you are behind the AI or you're actually the person that's out there. And as a result, we're personal Facebook friends with a lot of our clients. They see
Yeah.
my family life. They see that I'm coaching my daughter's basketball team right now. Like
Right.
and I see what they're doing in their life. And I like and I comment some of the stuff when I see it, right? Facebook doesn't
Yeah.
always show me everything, but I try to engage because I want that relationship. I want that personal relationship. And I think trust matters. And that's something that I still strive for. And I always will strive for it. Even if I get bigger, if I double the size, triple the size of my company, I hope that either I can still do a good job of personally keeping in regular communication or in touch, or that if I have the assistant that like I do have now, that whatever they're saying is really a direct reflection on me, right? I want
Yeah.
them to be able with confidence to speak how I would speak, or at least say, "Hey, I'm Jay's assistant. He wanted me to reach out to you." And however it is, but you got to touch those people and you got to let them know like we're thinking about you. And that's going to make a big difference, and even bigger moving forward as more stuff gets fake.
Right,
Eh,
right. No, I think that's so true with that personal touch and that you're real people behind the work you're doing as well, right?
sure.
So in your opinion, how should local businesses be thinking about omni-channel marketing when AI and automation are clearly in the mix?
Well, you should continue to look at all the different ways, all the different channels, all the different mediums that you can use, um, and then look at ways that AI can help you bring that to life quicker. But there's so many places now, right? You've got
Yeah.
programmatic TV, online streaming, retargeting, geofencing, you've got social media, like everywhere. And we can't be everywhere at once, but yet we're learning that we have to have something almost everywhere, right? I still am a believer that you could probably pick one channel and go hard after that channel and be successful. Like
Mhm.
I'm just going to do Facebook. I'm just going to do TikTok. I'm just going to do TV. I'm just going to do, you know,
Right.
I think you can, but I think AI should be able to help you leverage more than one channel, right? So that
Mhm.
you can be more well-rounded. And I think the things that you guys do are you know, extremely helpful, especially from a personalization, hyper targeting standpoint, like really getting to the person that wants what the advertiser has to offer. And I think
Yeah.
that's really that's just gonna get even more important over the coming weeks and months and years.
Right, right. It's always so funny you mentioned like the different channels. So I actually am curious, like, is there a paid channel that you've seen that tends to pair best with AI driven follow up, like Meta? You've mentioned a few of those already, but specifically for local and service based businesses, is if there's like any top performers out there that you've seen?
Yeah, I think Meta, if you're gonna have an AI chat assistant to actually send DMs back and forth with leads, Facebook, Instagram, they're both Meta's the way to go. Especially in a B2C environment, like we work with mostly B2C appointment-based businesses, Meta's where you're gonna find a lot of those a lot of that traffic. Uh, TikTok for a long time didn't really do the personal DM messaging space, and that's become more of a thing lately. Uh, I'm looking at ways to do more of that because with and this is just for AI. Like there's lots of
Yeah.
ways, you can bring in leads and drive somebody to a landing page, get them to fill out a form, get them a download, get them a calculator or whatever. I'd still use those social media channels to get them there. But or maybe Google too would be one that I would then bring into that category. But with an AI chat assistant, and we're not talking voice AI, I'm still just talking written words,
Yeah.
chat DMs. Uh, you have to be able to drive them. You have to be able to drive the ad has to be able to bring somebody into a chat, right? Um, Offer a text, you either through a QR code or text this number, scan this QR code that would send a text message. You can have AI respond to the text message and work to book the appointment. Those types of things work well. But from a social standpoint, right now, Meta has been ruling the day just in my case, but I know there's trillions of dollars to be made with Google Ads. I know there's, a lot to be made with a lot of other platforms. That's just what I've seen in the B2C appointment setting space.
Yeah.
Beyond that, it's a longer conversation.
Sure. Sure. So, kind of looking ahead, what's one AI or marketing trend that you think businesses should start preparing for now?
Yeah. Um, I would say at the very least, at the very least, uh, AI video is something that everyone needs to prepare for.
Mm,
And you don't even have to take that from me. Look at Hollywood. Right? Hollywood is moving towards AI production on the biggest scale possible, right? We now have the ability on our laptops, on our phones even, to generate cinematic, high production, Hollywood style content using AI. And it's not very hard, right?
yeah.
So I think in terms of video's the most consumed content on the planet. It's only getting bigger and bigger because it's getting easier and easier and cheaper to do it. I would say if you're a business owner, yeah, obviously text and images and social and that stuff's good, but the big trend I think is move towards video. You can still do faceless video, or you could do, you know, put your face on camera. But the production you can get from some of the AI platforms, like Google VO3, which is now 3.1. There's other tools, Runway and Sora has become big, but Sora is still kind of, it's AI, so it's kind of gimmicky still. But
Yeah.
I've used VO3 and made some pretty wild videos. There's one that's on my Facebook page that I could send you later if you want to put it out as a link, that I'm still super proud of, and it was like the first big thing I did with VO3, and it's just like a 30-second clip of me promoting a webinar, and Now that I think about it, I might have to go back and try to edit it and reuse it for my Friday workshops because I wasn't
Yeah.
doing those yet. So
Yeah.
I could go talk to the Yeti and jump out of a plane again. It's been great.
That
Um,
is so crazy, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'll share that. But yeah, that I think video is how you're gonna get noticed. Video is how you're gonna get seen. And it doesn't matter. People get so discouraged. I put out a video and 5 people saw it or 5 people liked it. Okay, put out another video. Maybe you'll get 7 this time, right? Like
Right. Yeah.
consistency is gonna be there's the trend. Be consistent. Pick something, be consistent, right?
Mhm.
I'm doing webinars. But
Yeah.
that's not a new thing. Webinars have been around. I'm just doing webinars teaching people how to use AI because that's the new thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
No,
that's to cut it short. That's really it.
no, that's fascinating. I mean, and it is interesting because just even in some of the conversations I've been having, exactly that. Like,
Mhm.
they sent me a video and I thought it was them, and
Right.
it was AI generated, and I've had video conversations with them, so yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed, and it's definitely been something that's being talked about a lot right now.
100%. And something I always say, today is the worst that AI will be. Like
Yeah.
right this moment, by the time we're done talking, AI will have improved significantly in the next 5 minutes, right?
Wild.
And so can you imagine like 5 years from now? Like I can't even this world is it's like a snowball. So we were talking about the snow in the southeast.
Right.
It's coming. Well, whenever this goes out, we might have already had that snowstorm.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We're going to get a snowstorm now as we talk. But it's like a snowball, right? Like the bigger it
Yeah.
gets, the more force it gets, the faster it builds, the faster it generates, and my hands are blocking my face now. But that's how I see AI. It's like this it's rapidly speeding up to the point where like traditionally you would incrementally improve. You're like force multiply improving with AI. So I always do tell people, I'm like, first of all, if you're going to teach it, you have to show it, not tell it, right? I have to
Mhm.
show people how AI can work for them. I can't talk to them blue in the face and tell them about how great it is and what it can do. When people see it, it's a jaw dropping experience. And
Mm.
today is the worst it's ever gonna be. It's only gonna get better, and if you get on the train now or y the whole economy, jobs, labor, um, it's gonna get turned on its head. Uh, and does that scare me a little bit? I don't wanna get apocalyptic, but does it scare me?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, but, maybe AI will help us figure out what the solution is. Who knows,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and thinking about things that are scary, right? I mean, I think we're around the same age, and internet when that came out, that was scary. That was a little bit like, what? An email? Like what? That was, those were all like really interesting in how that has shaped and become so common. I don't think we have to fear it, but it is interesting how it will absolutely change the way we do stuff. Like who goes I mean, people still go to the library and the Dewey
I love
Decimal
the library.
System, but, like, things have evolved, things have changed in that sort of life, right? So,
Completely.
figuring that out. Well, is there anything else that maybe we haven't covered that you'd really like to share with our listeners today?
Well, I will say to the listeners that I appreciate you having me on here. We were talking about it being 15 to 20 minutes, or almost at 30. So,
Yeah.
I hope that some value was provided to the listeners. Um, no, I mean, I'm here. I'm available. If anybody has questions, wants to come to a free Friday webinar to learn more about AI and how you can actually use it in business. Um, you can follow me, and I'm sure you can put the link to jtheaiguy.com somewhere. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I want to reemphasize one thing, and that is I know I said it, and then as I said it, I was like, this is a really important topic. Just be consistent. I see
Yeah.
too many people try something, it doesn't go the way they had dreamed it up in their head, and they stop right away. They give up. They turn the other way. They're like, I got to try something else. What's the next shiny object, right? Um, Try it for a while. I've committed that to myself with these webinars. I said I'm doing it for at least 6 months. I'm
Yeah.
not just going to give up after one or two. Um, and then hopefully when I get to the 6 month mark, I'm like, this is so great. I'm just going to keep doing it. Right. So, but you
Yeah.
got to build a habit and get consistent. So if you're in marketing or you're trying to learn any of this stuff, just keep trying. Don't give up after one or two failed attempts and they're not even failed. No attempt is failed because you're learning
Right. You're
something,
learning
right? So
something.
after one or two attempts that don't go exactly how you dreamed it up in your head, try it again. Try it again. Maybe take what you learned and do something a little bit different. And that's it. Just stay consistent.
Yeah, that's so good. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jay. And thank you to everyone for tuning in to today's episode brought to you by Exact Digital, your partner in performance driven media across programmatic, CTV, paid social search, and more. Let us know how we can help you and have a great day.